everyone, and welcome to the General Hospital recap for July 12th. I know I keep saying I'm not going to do this, but we had a heat wave and it was miserable. And trust me, if I did recaps, it would just be like misery. So let's get right to it because it's nice and cool out. I'm outside and it's lovely. So let's do this. So at General Hospital, Carly comes to see Bobby. They talk about the wedding. She quickly tells her about Michael and Nell, which goes over just as well as you think. So she tells Bobby about the talk between Jocelyn and Sonny as well. Bobby wants Carly to make different choices too. By the way, I really like the darker lipstick on Carly, but I love darker lipstick. I know I'm not wearing it right now, but now I kind of wish I was. Carly isn't going to back off of Nell though. Nell is going to hurt Michael and Carly is going to find a way to stop her. Bobby tells her not to interfere or she'll lose Michael. Carly feels boxed in by her choices though, and Bobby has a third option for her from her schemer past. So there's a simpler plan with no blowback: gather facts and arrange for Michael to find out about them and sit back and watch. Isn't that loverly? Bobby thinks there are 100 more secrets out there about Nell, and she's just ready to expose every single one of them. At Crimson, Nina is ready and raring to go. Julian is in her office, and he has news for her, which I'm sure she doesn't want to hear. The rest of the non-Crimson media ventures aren't doing so well, and Nina kind of does, I don't know, they kind of go back and forth. She's not happy that he's there, basically. Valentin comes to see Nina, by the way, and he's talking to Nell because she's the assistant now, and he asked how Nina is and offers her job back. Or no, he asks how she is and offers her job back, but she's happy at the magazine. Nina pretty much kicks Julian out of her office and then sees Valentin's there. He wants to see her for a minute, and she's like, okay, whatever. So he wants to buy an ad. It autocorrected to the wrong form of ad, so I was like, what? A Prime ad in Crimson. He's started a nonprofit. Sounds familiar. He filed the paperwork this morning, and I'm sorry, it takes a lot longer than that. Even if you are dealing with a team of lawyers to put together your nonprofit, it takes a lot longer than I filed the paperwork this morning. It's a rescue for racehorses, and he named it after her. Well, that's really sweet. It is, and it's good for the horses. Like, I'm not going to complain. So he wants to open an animal therapy program for children and veterans, and she thinks it's a great idea, but ultimately it's to lure her back into his life, and he says he's trying to win her and show her who he really is. She says it doesn't cancel out the people he hurt, especially Spencer. She says he killed his father, and Valentin says the events are up to interpretation, and he leaves. So Nina tells Nell to notify her immediately if Julian shows up again, and don't trust him. Nina's having trouble reconciling Valentin's past with there being no criminal record of his past. She's trying to rationalize it to herself. And I kind of I don't blame her. Now that she's not so gung-ho over keeping Charlotte from Lulu, I'm a little bit more easy on her, I think, because that's what was really bothering me. So at the Metro Court, Kevin and Laura are having breakfast and talking about Spencer. Laura questions whether Spencer going to Lila's kids is the right thing. Kevin says that it is. It gives him time to be around kids, and she's worried about his obsession with Valentin and getting his inheritance. And Kevin says this focus is just really about keeping his father in his life, because it's really more than losing material things. He's losing everything that was connected with his father, like the house and all of that. He thinks that letting Spencer keep talking it out will be beneficial for down the road, because it's letting him continue his grieving process in a semi-healthy way. Kevin is concerned about Laura though. She hasn't given herself a chance to process the loss because she's focused so hard on Spencer and either keeping him safe or keep it being a rock for him. And, it'll be 1 year soon that Nicholas died. Kevin says at least Valentin is gone, and then Julian comes over and it's gone? He's upstairs at Crimson in Port Charles. Haha. Well, I kind of jumped the gun with the Crimson thing. So Laura immediately calls Lulu to be like, oh, you're going to want to hear this. At the penthouse, Sonny comes to talk, or J. Sam's place. I keep changing the name of it, and I have to keep it consistent. Sonny comes over to talk to Jason about business, apparently, something mutually beneficial. Sam sees this happening, and her, Sonny that's taunting and haunting her is in her ear now. Sam gets noticeably bothered, but blames it on her phone, and she has somewhere to be. They talk a little. Jason and Sunny talk a little about Sam after she leaves. Sunny has a proposal for Jason, partnering with him in a completely legit business venture. He wants to buy an abandoned project and open a retail/office space, and he needs a partner to do that with. Jason turns him down. Sunny really wants him though, and Jason says his enemies will become convinced that it's a front, and then that Jason's taking over, and he just can't risk that. Sunny is going to talk to Michael about doing a joint venture since he doesn't want to be in a bidding war. He asked Jason to look over the papers though, and Jason thinks that he can make this work. So Sunny gets a text from Legit Business. He has to go. It's Diane. There's good news to tell. Back at the Metro Court, Sam finds Julian there. She tells him how Sunny claims he's going legit, and Julian says it won't happen. She wants Jason out of it. So she offers Julian a relationship with her and his grandkids if, he cares to. Interesting. So Julian was under the impression that Jason didn't work for Sunny, and she tells him, what happened with Garvey. And Julian has doubts about this. So he tells her to keep talking to Jason. She says, she can't talk to him. She asks what he would do. He says the only guaranteed solution is to get rid of Sunny. So she thinks he's going to pull Jason into it while, Sunny escapes the business. So now Jason's in it and Sunny's not there. And then this Sunny taunts her. She says she'll finish what she started. She asks Julian not to tell anyone about this conversation. So Sam calls someone to make a purchase. And Laura wants to get Spencer before Valentin does. At the park, Spencer is practicing his monologue. Joss talks to him about Hamlet and how she stopped feeling sorry for Hamlet because all he was doing was feeling sorry for himself. And Spencer says Hamlet was on the most noble of missions. Spencer talks to them, it's Jocelyn and Oscar, about Hamlet and, hence the main role, I guess. Oh, okay. He talked the camp into doing Hamlet because they were going to do Cats. Which makes a lot more sense because Hamlet, I was like, that's a weird choice for a summer camp. So that's why he has the main role. So he's focused everything on theater and not doing any other activities. And then Oscar comes over to Jocelyn. Here we go. Jocelyn introduces them, and Spencer immediately is very Spencer. Spencer's using the word peasant again. He thought he was being mocked, but Oscar was just like being genuine. And I don't know. Spencer, he tends to be on the defensive. So Oscar realizes Spencer was talking about the play because Spencer's like, Prince and this and that. Then Spencer's like, no, I wasn't. I was talking about my real life. He and Hamlet are living the same events, and he's going to do better than Hamlet did. So Jocelyn and Oscar go off and talk. She tells him about Spencer and what happened with his parents, and he points out how she has a very dramatic family. Really, Oscar? Really? So Spencer is practicing, and Valentin comes up behind him and claps for him and says he was very convincing. So he wants to talk to him, a peace offering, a cufflink from Mikos. No, it's a ring. It's a ring. I thought it was a cufflink. It's a ring from Mikos. He wants to pass it on to him, but Spencer's like, nah. And now end scene. Carly really likes Bobby's plan. Felicia is going to dig for dirt, and they'll keep their distance. Nina tells Nell about the nonprofit, that it was a gesture, and Nell points out that Nina still loves Valentin, and she says love isn't enough, and Nell really keeps pushing it, and I was like, what is your damage, Nell? Let people live their own lives. Valentin wants to even the scales with Laura, and Kevin intercede. What? I don't even know what I'm talking about. She tells him to never be near her grandson again, and Spencer gives him the ring back and says that he makes his own luck. He doesn't need this. Jason tells Sam about the project. He turned it down, and she asks, then why is the paperwork still here? He tells her it's all about his opinion, and she thinks that Sunny has ulterior motives. Jason goes upstairs to take care of Scout. Sam has a gun and points it at Sunny, so this is going to go over well. Jocelyn starts to put things into perspective. She has both her parents. They make a deal to not complain about their parents too much. They'll make up a code word, fireflies. Sunny comes up to Jocelyn in the park. She says that she needs to go back to work. He says he has good news, and then Oscar steps in and says that she doesn't want to talk to you. And Sunny's like, look, this doesn't involve you. And then then Oscar threatens Sunny, and I'm like, oh, this is it. First I was like, dude, and I was like, wait, he doesn't know who this is. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting. So thank you so much for watching. I'm on a little upload spree here, so I will see you in 2 seconds, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.